Lynn here, welcome to the channel, and I've got a sleeping Luna here as usual. I hope that you're all well, my wonderful friends, and as always a huge thank you to you all for your continued love and support for this, my very own little creative corner of the internet. This week, my friends, we're going to return to even more spring getting ready sewing. If that's a thing, I think it should be. And I'm going to be creating some charm pattern creations this week. But before I get to that, my friends, please, if you haven't done so already, hit that all important subscribe button for me, because it really does mean a lot. I've got something to share with you here as well, my friends. They're in my eyeline. I've just got to share them with you. How beautiful are these flowers? These were a gift from my lovely husband. How beautiful are they? Roses, lilies and stocks. They're beautiful. They smell incredible. I just had to share them with you because they were right next to me. I just had to share them. Look how beautiful they are. Gorgeous. Anyway, friends, back to this week. So this week we're going to be doing some charm patterns sewing and also a little bit of fit adjustment as well. So if you've been with me for any length of a time here on the channel, my friends, you might know that last year was a little bit tumultuous for me, and I did end up having cancer surgery at the end of April, which has meant that I don't like things quite as tight now on my waist. So quite a lot of the makes that I have in my current me-made wardrobe, I have been adjusting the fit just slightly, even to ½ an inch or so, just so that my makes are still comfy to wear, and so that I don't get upset when I get to that wardrobe and see that there are a few things that aren't as comfy as they could be. So this week, with that in mind, my friends, I am grabbing this pattern, the Loretta shorts from Gertie's World on Patreon. And if you've been with me here on the channel for a while, my friends, you'll know that I already have quite a few pairs of these shorts in my me-made wardrobe, like these ones. Unfortunately, because of that surgery, I am needing to do a little bit of fit adjustment on those. So I'm going to take you with me, my friends, while I do that this week and show you how I would then adapt my pattern after I've done those fit adjustments. And then it's time to get creating something that I have had on my sewing list for quite a while, my friends. It is these. The gorgeous Lucille trouser, another pattern from Gertie's World on Patreon. Absolutely loving my Gertie's makes at the moment, my friends. So come along as we create some more makes and do some fit adjustments too. And this can be a really good thing to have in your sewing arsenal as well, my friends, because bodies do change shape. So it's quite a good thing to be able to grab those me-made makes and adjust them slightly so that you get even more wear out of them. And, you know, who doesn't love being able to keep things in their wardrobe a little bit longer, especially those things you've spent so long creating yourself? So without further ado, let's get to some sewing, my friends. And some snoozing if you're Luna. First up, the Loretta shorts, and as always, the pattern and instructions from our lovely Gertie on her Gertie's World Patreon are second to none, and these Loretta shorts are available in a great size range. I love the style of these. The pockets are so unique and functional too. They are sewn in an unusual way, but don't panic, my friends, because Gertie has a video dedicated to their construction, so there's no need to worry. With 5 pattern pieces needed to create them, the shorts back, front, pocket, pocket bag and waistband, and a construction process that feels wonderfully simple once you've got the hang of those pockets, this project can be a fabric frugal and quick one. And the pattern comes with additional pattern pieces to create the cutest bib to make your shorts into dungarees should you wish, in combination with the Stanwick skirt pattern. And also a fold over bodice piece to help you make the cutest play suits when combined with the charm pattern's L'Amour dress. Hey Looney, hello baby, hi, hear that happy tail going, hello, hello, Hi darling. Yes, hello. So here are the 2 pairs of Loretta shorts that I have already made and created for my Me Made wardrobe. You having a nice little sneeze, Looney? Yeah, good girl. So yes, back to the shorts. So these are the 2 pairs of Loretta shorts that I've made previously, and although they fit okay, because of my recent surgery, I'm not liking to have things as tight across my waist as I used to. So I am going to refit these now. These both are actually in the make, do and mend pile because both of them have broken zips. So I don't know if you can see here. Yes, that zip is just completely and utterly broken, and it's the same case with the red ones. In fact, the red ones have a broken invisible zipper in them. I think that was just because that's all I had to hand, but the Loretta shorts do usually call for a lapped zip. But as you can see here, I have quite a lot of excess on the navy blue waistband. So with those, I'm literally just going to take the waistband off, and I'm going to think about possibly letting out the side seams just a little bit to give myself a little bit more ease in the waist. And with the red ones, unfortunately, I don't know what I've really done with this pair, and I'll tell you why. They don't have darts in the back. So I'm wondering actually if this is a bit of fabric that I repurposed for these shorts. So they don't actually have the darts in the back from the actual pattern. And if you notice, they don't have that much overlap here either. Luna getting comfy. Oh, little sweetie. I love you. So they don't have the bigger overlap that the navy pair have, which will allow me to alter, look at the Luna fur, to alter them. So what I'm going to do, I actually have some of this red suiting left. So what I'm going to do is cut a new waistband, and I'm going to cut a new waistband. I'm going to size up. So these are a size 4, so I'm going to cut a red waistband in the size 6 waistband, just so I've got a little bit of extra. And then I'm going to once again see if I can get some extra space on the side seams here, and then fit these a little better. Everywhere else they're completely fine. On the hips and on the legs they're completely fine. It's just I wanted a little bit more ease on the waist. So if I was starting from scratch, what I would do to do this is I would create my usual size 4, but I would use the normal seam allowance going up the majority of the side seam, and then when I reached sort of just past the pocket, I would go to a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance just to give me a little bit extra ease. So let's grab a stitch ripper. It's a tongue twister today. I'm going to grab a stitch ripper and I'm going to take the waistbands off. I'm also going to look and see about the size of these red ones and see if they're actually possibly able to create the dart that's not there. I don't know why the dart isn't there. It's bizarre because it's on this pair. How very, very strange. Anyway, let's get to some seam ripping, shall we? While Luna has a nap. Lovely lady Luna. Yeah, good girl. Get some sneezing. I love you. Side eye. So on to those shorts. Thanks to that trusty stitch ripper and some good telly courtesy of Netflix, I've removed the waistbands and broken zips from the 2 pairs of Loretta shorts, keeping that navy waistband to reuse. Looking at the back pieces on the shorts, it does seem as though the red shorts were indeed cut from the pattern as usual, but for some reason I simply pleated the fabric rather than sewing the darts. And honestly friends, I really don't have any idea why, but I'm now going to actually sew those darts while refitting these shorts. But firstly, I'm going to give them a much needed launder before recutting a red waistband and looking at altering the side seams to give me that little more ease that I need at the waist. Because I've got these 2 pairs of Loretta shorts already created, I'm not going to make a new pair this week, but instead concentrate on fitting and then modifying the pattern. But don't despair because, as I said earlier friends, Gertie's instructions are great, so you can do it. So now that they're all laundered, I've gone ahead and restitched those side seams above the pocket, tapering to a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at the waistline edge to allow me to add some ease at that waistline. These size 4s do fit me, but I'm definitely going for extra comfort this year. I will then unpick the original stitching and tie off the threads where the 2 lines of stitching meet. Then it's time for a new working zip, beginning by pinning and tacking, and then machine stitching in place. Strangely, even after over 30 years of sewing, I still have to stop and think and triple and quadruple check that I've done lapped zips correctly. Strange but true. The original waistband was pinned all around the waistline of the navy shorts, and happily it was still big enough to create an overlap even with the added ease. So now all I have to do is move the hook and bar slightly, and then hand stitch the raw edge of the waistband in place inside the shorts. Blue ones finished, it was time to tackle the red pair, beginning by cutting the new waistband, and then sewing those strangely elusive darts. New zip time. And over the years, I've had a fair few different types of zip foot to use when installing zips by machine, but this skinny type is by far my favourite. The slim design means that I can see my stitching much easier, and it also makes closing the zip pull midway much simpler too. With the zip installed but the waistband not yet on, this is a great time to check the fit. Happy with the fit, it was waistband time. Having cut a larger size waistband, I began by stitching one side of the waistband closed, before walking it around the waistline of my shorts, pinning it in place to ascertain where the overlap needed to begin, then placing a pin at this point to assist me in sewing that overlap. Before I do all that wonderful work to stitch it in place, to finish this red pair. Okay my friends, so now that I have perfected the fit of the Loretta shorts, I'm going to transfer my changes to my paper pattern pieces so that when I create even more pairs of these gorgeous shorts, the fit will be perfect from the word go. So the changes I need to make are to these 2 pattern pieces here. Number 2, the pocket, and number 4, the shorts back. And the reason that it is these 2 pieces, my friends, is because it's these 2 pieces that have the side seams here, which is where we added that ease. So I'm also going to grab the shorts front piece, number 1, just to give myself a little mark to show where the pocket actually joins, because that was the point at which we stopped adding ease and changing the pattern. So I've made that mark there on the pocket, and I've also noted that on my back piece as well, along that side seam. So when I was adding ease to these pattern pieces, my friends, I ended up using just a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at the top edge here, tapering it down to where the pocket joins the shorts. just like so. And you can see what I have done, because that 3/8 of an inch allowance takes away 2/8 of an inch from the full 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. All I needed to do was add 2/8 of an inch to that top waistline edge. And all I did was grab some spare paper, tuck it in behind, stick my pattern piece down, and then make that 2/8 of an inch mark at the top, tapering down to that mark we made earlier, denoting where the pocket starts. And yes, it really is as easy as that. So now my pattern pieces also have the amount of ease that I added to my shorts. So this lovely pattern will fit perfectly the next time I decide to make a pair. And modifying your patterns like this, my friends, is a great skill to have in your sewing skill arsenal. And it does mean as well that next time I'm not going to have to worry about doing mock-ups or anything, because I know how these shorts fit. So definitely get into some pattern modification and adaptation, my friends, because it saves you a lot of time. On to those Lucille trousers, and as usual the instructions are clear and concise. This time I have 6 pieces to work with: trouser back, trouser front, side front, pocket bag, pocket interfacing, and the waistband, which this time we have 2 options for. There are some pleats and darts to sew this time. Great to have some variety. The sizing mirrors that of the Loretta shorts, which makes me one happy lady because I can use the same principles that I used to fit the shorts. For the waistband, I have once again cut one that is a size bigger than my other pattern pieces. This will allow me to use that 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at the waistline to add that little bit more ease at the waist. Getting to that sewing, the first task was to sew the darts on the back trouser pieces. Followed by attaching the pocket interfacing and then sewing the pocket bag to the trouser front pieces. Now this looks a little weird here because, shock horror, I've run out of interfacing. So I simply cut the interfacing piece out of fabric and pinned it in place to sew at the same time as attaching the pocket bag to the trouser front. And happily, this worked. 2 birds and 1 stone. I also basted the pleats in place within the seam allowance at the same time. Then understitching the pocket bag to ensure a smooth edge to my pockets, and I might be a little proud of my stitching here. Time to attach the side front, which is basted to the trouser front at both the waistline and side edges, forming the back of our pocket. Pockets continue to fascinate me, my friends, and if they fascinate you too, I've actually dedicated an entire pattern drafting video to this right here on the channel, so be sure to check that out. There's a card above. Darts and pleats sewn and pockets installed, it was then time to construct the trouser legs, placing each trouser front right sides together with a trouser back before pinning, and then sewing those inside and outside leg seams to create 2 legs. Then the crotch seam, and this is a total broken record if you've been with me here on the channel for any length of time. Yes, you've probably heard me say this many times before, but my ultimate favourite way to do this is to turn one of your legs right side out and put it inside the other leg so that their right sides are facing each other before pinning, and then stitching all along that curve to the zip mark. Nice and easy. Then it was time for another lapped zip. Lots of practice with those this week, my friends. Then it's time to try those trousers on before that waistband is attached. And I'm happy to say I was extremely happy with the fit. it is worth remembering, my friends, that the garment won't sit entirely properly until the waistband is attached. But trying your garments on throughout the sewing process can really help you to check the fit and make sure that you're happy. Waistband time, and I start by closing both ends for ease before I walk and pin it all around the waistline of my Lucille trousers to ascertain where the overlap needs to start, just as I did for the Loretta shorts. Then that waistband is attached and neatly hand finished. Happy with the fit, my pattern can be adjusted in the exact same way as the Loretta pattern previously. It's reveal time. Well friends, I am elated to say that this week's sewing and fitting endeavours have proved successful and fruitful, with 3 garments refitted and sewn. Simple refitting and pattern modification like this that I did this week is a great skill to add to your sewing arsenal, and it can really give a new lease of life to garments that might be sadly languishing in the back of our wardrobes. So maybe get to some refitting of your own, my friends. But until next week, when I'll be pattern drafting and creating something perfect for those of us who are stubborn enough to be wanting garden cuppers, despite it still being a little bit chilly, i.e. Luna and I. Until then, you take care, my friends. Bye.